Hello there, people of Earth. My name's Jason.
Greetings, everybody, and I'm Steve.
And we are the Highwaymen. And today we're going to be sort of responding to one of the comments that we had on our last Madonna video about plastic surgery. So we thought we'd kind of go with the discussing what we thought of plastic surgery, whether we think it's a good thing, whether we think it's a bad thing, and we'll go from there. So we'll start with the concept of plastic surgery, which is, really about correcting things that are wrong. People who have been disfigured and people with, only one ear and stuff like that. It's a really, really useful thing. But I think, unfortunately, human beings being human beings, we've took it to the extremes now of not only medicine, but of good taste. What would you say, Steve?
I'm 100% with you. You're absolutely right. So in the Second World War, when fighter pilots were getting caught in their planes and burnt and disfigured and everything else, I don't know if you ever heard of it, that they started to experiment with plastic surgery, and they were called the Guinea Pig Club. If you've ever got a chance to Google that, have a look. And that's kind of almost the founding place of this, and it was designed to help people that had disfigurements and everything else. But you're absolutely right, Jake. In our completely vain mannerism, we've took it to try and I'm going to use this very loosely, enhance the gifts that we've been given or not been given. And I do get it. I do get if a girl is particularly flat chested, she might want bigger boobs. I get that, but if I'm honest with you, that I do understand. I did look at a penis reduction, Jay, to be fair, but I couldn't afford it. I've got to live with it. It is what it is. But I'm honestly, why the freaking heck would you want even the basic ones now, where you just pump all sorts of stuff into your lips, fillers, and into your bits of plastic? You're shoving plastic into your face.
Well, let's start with would you have plastic surgery? Here's a question.
No, I wouldn't, unless there was something, if I had an ear missing, yes, I would, because it'd be awkward wearing my glasses. If I had a larger nose than I already do, then perhaps so. But no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even. Sometimes I look in the mirror and think, well, I'm looking old, and then I realise, well, that's perhaps because I am old. And then I think, well, lucky me. Aren't I lucky to have got this far in my life, and I'm still here to tell the tale. So
no.
See,
I always say I wouldn't. However, I'm going to use the however. If I had really, really bad eye bags, and someone said, a couple of £1,000 here, we can get rid of that and make them look normal. Or if I had a really bad sort of turkey neck, I'd possibly think about that. And I think sometimes when you look at some of the celebrities, Cliff Richard. If people who don't know who that is, if you're American stuff, Cliff Richard was kind of our Elvis Presley, wasn't he? He was kind of the young, handsome rocker. And he just constantly never seemed to age, did he? He always looked 10 years younger than he was supposed to. And he's been really open about plastic surgery. And he said, I've had a nip here and a tuck there. And you'd look at him and think he just looks well for his age. He doesn't look like he's had anything done. Joan Collins, I saw on television a couple of weeks ago, who must be about 87 now.
She's got to be, Jay. She's got to be, yeah.
Now, if she's had plastic surgery, you wouldn't obviously look at her and say, she probably has, but if you wouldn't look at her and say, oh my God, she's definitely had plastic surgery. She looked phenomenal. Who was the one who played Sue Ellen in Dallas? I've seen her on television. Oh. She's in her late 70s now. Helen Gray, Ellen Gray, beautiful. She looks phenomenal. And again, I wouldn't say she's not had plastic surgery, but she doesn't look like she's had plastic surgery. She just looks young for her age. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis, have you seen her recently?
No.
Now, she definitely hasn't had plastic surgery. She's got the lines and the wrinkles, but she still looks beautiful with it. Now, you take some of the other ones. We talked about Madonna the other day. Now, she has obviously, she's 60 now. She has filled her face full of fillers, and her head constantly looks very smooth, and her lips look huge because she's had them all pumped full. But I wouldn't say she actually looks younger. I
She
think
looks
sometimes,
awful.
I think
She
sometimes
looks
plastic,
awful.
I think sometimes people who have plastic surgery look smoother, but just as old, or sometimes even older.
Oh, she bears no resemblance to what she used
No,
to look like.
no.
And I look at her now and just think, I don't fancy you. I'm sure she'll be quite pleased to hear that. But I look at her and I think you do nothing, absolutely nothing at all for me. Where I would much rather look at a mature lady with a few lines and bits and pieces and go, do you know what? That's attractive. You are attractive because you've experienced life and you're kind of wearing it, if you like, and you're happy with yourself.
I
Or
think
trying to
the
be,
problem is
one or
we've
the other.
gone from saying, you know, I've got a huge nose and I want it smaller, to saying, well, I want that person's nose. I want you know, an arse that looks like, you know, Jennifer Lopez suddenly had this full of backside and everybody wanted it, and now you've got these huge arse implants which are really, really dangerous. People have died from them. You know, boob implants. We had a look at that girl that wanted to be black the other week, Martina Big,
We did,
who had
yes.
these huge breasts that just don't bear any
Like a
likeness to
cartoon
real
character.
breast. Yeah, and I remember watching one, a young girl. She was very, very young, probably in her 20s, on an MTV program, and she wanted to have eyes like Carmen Electra. And
Right.
she was a beautiful girl who had this plastic surgery, who was still beautiful, but she just didn't look the same. They weren't her eyes, they didn't match her face, and it just wasn't her. And I think one of the ladies that commented on the Madonna video said, you know, if, be honest, if you could afford it, would you have plastic surgery? And as I just said, the answer for me is no. You know, I'm far from perfect. However, I am an original. I am me. You are you. You
Yeah,
know, we
yeah,
are
yeah,
meant to
yeah.
look different. And I think this non-cosmetic surgery, you know, this Botox and these fillers and these huge duck lips that the girls seem to go for, we shouldn't all have the same lips. We should all look
Of course
different.
we shouldn't.
And and
Exactly.
and it's not true. You know, I don't think it's attractive. I mean, 20-year-olds watching this thinking, well, you know, I don't really care what a 50-year-old bloke thinks. But the truth is, it doesn't look attractive. You look like you've been, I don't know,
Swallowed a dinghy.
yeah, or been stung by bees. It's just not
Yeah.
attractive.
No,
Not
it
attractive
isn't.
at all.
It really isn't. But and half of this stuff we call it plastic surgery, but you can just pop to the hairdressers and have that done now,
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
you?
yeah. It's called aesthetics now. Oh, that's just reminded me of another thing. There was a film called Escape. Do you remember Escape from New York with Kurt Russell?
Yeah, I think I vaguely
Yeah,
do.
there's this kind of a very early 80s film. Anyway, they did another one called Escape from LA. And basically, LA is a huge kind of prison, and he's trying to, they've locked it all down, and he's trying to get out. And he goes through Beverly Hills, and uh, it's all full of plastic surgeons. You know, they're all criminals, but they're all plastic surgeons. And it was a bit of a kind of like a caricature of someone who's had plastic surgery. All the people had these like, you know, tight faces and stuff like that, meant to look a little bit monstrous. But if you actually watch the same film now, it was a bit humorous at the time, the way people looked. But if you compare it now, they look like a lot of people walking around.
Back off.
You know, it doesn't, it's not the caricature that it was, because people are actually going for this kind of stuff now and having
Yeah.
this like ridiculous like lifts, so their eyebrows are halfway up the blinking forehead and stuff like
I
that.
don't get it.
No, I don't get it. I mean, we've seen talk about the bum lifts. We were in Mexico and this girl came in, quite a skinny girl with this, she'd obviously had a bum cheeks done. I mean, it looked ridiculous. Everybody was looking at her, but for the wrong reasons. I mean, they weren't looking at her thinking, oh my God, what a great arse she's got. They were looking at her, oh my God. And can you imagine sitting down on that? I mean, is it going to be like extra comfortable because you've got these big two cushions in your bum? Is it going to be uncomfortable because you feel like you're sitting on bits of plastic? If you've had a bum lift, we want to know.
Yeah, we do want to know. And
Tell us
accompanying
in the
photographs as well,
comments.
please.
Absolutely. But I think, seriously, if you're watching this video, please comment and let us know, would you have plastic surgery? Is there anything you would change about yourself? We want to
Do you
know.
know what? I certainly wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. And it's interesting to get a take. And I believe that most people are happy with themselves when it actually boils down to it. But society makes people feel inadequate.
It's things like adverts, though. You click on the television, and you've got to buy this age-defying wrinkle cream because wrinkles are bad. And you sort of programmed to believe that you shouldn't be having wrinkles, you shouldn't be having grey hair. All these things that that you're being told on a daily basis that they're bad to have. You shouldn't have this. Whereas I do appreciate the people, again, Jamie Lee Curtis, of just saying, you know what? I'm going to get old. I'm going to get grey hair. I'm going to get wrinkles. And it's part and parcel of the process.
Rather than looking at things that way, how about they have been earned? You have earned every wrinkle. You've earned every grey hair. And it's not been an easy road to get there. So do you know what? Embrace it. If you'd worked hard and bought yourself a nice car, then people will go, well, that's a nice car. So why can't people turn around and say, do you know what? Your hair looks amazing. Because do you know what? There are ladies that don't dye their hair, and they're the most beautiful, silvery, grey kind of coloured hair. And in fact, people even try and replicate that. You can buy,
yeah.
You can buy a silvery
hair
grey
dye.
Hair dye, can't you?
Well, it's interesting as well that we have a term for silver-haired men as being quite sexually attractive. Silver fox is the term.
Yeah.
We don't actually have the same terminology for a woman, do we? We don't have that sort of terminology. There's no, we don't sort of say, oh yeah, silver-haired vixen, as being a sexually attractive thing. Whereas if you're a silver fox, it's considered quite a compliment, which is quite interesting, isn't it? So, and again, it's society saying to women, you can't have grey hair. It's not attractive because we don't have that terminology. And it is the fact that they always say that men grow older better than women, and I don't think that's really the case. I think it's just society's perception of I say the silver fox, and what we're allowed to do, what we allow ourselves to do.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, I do get plastic surgery for the right reasons. I do get that. I personally, I would rather see a lady with what she was given naturally. And if that isn't such a fuller bust, well, do you know what? You're still gorgeous. And I'll bet you, if you've not got a huge bust, you've probably got the most cracking pair of legs anyone's ever seen.
Sarah showed me a photo the other day of somebody called, I think it was Molly May, who is, I think she's an Instagram star, and she can't be more than late 20s, early 30s, and she'd had all her fillers taken out of her face. So I mean, I was surprised she's having fillers at that age anyway. But the before and after, she looks so much prettier after, when it had all come out. She did look absolutely beautiful. Well, she looked beautiful before, but she looked absolutely beautiful afterwards without the fillers. Definitely. But you say about women, but it's not just women that have Botox and fillers. We know somebody who has a male who has Botox and fillers every single year. We do indeed. He has Botox and fillers every year. Now, is that pressure, society's pressure that you can't grow old? Probably. But men are doing it as well. The problem is you will look like Frank Sidebottom by the time you get to 70, because your head's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because all the fillers. Priscilla Presley, have you ever seen her speaking? It's like two different. It's like one face behind and one face in front. It's unbelievable.
Patrick Swayze, there was all sorts of photographs of him being bounded about, looking awful, quite frankly. But then he died not long after these photographs had come about with cancer, bless his heart. So you then have to question, well, did he have plastic surgery? Was that the fallout from the treatment he was having? Don't know.
I think with him, I think he just aged and he just got very ill. And once you start to get ill, that massively ages you anyway. And I think that's the thing. But I think, male stars, I think about things like, Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, still look great as rugged men. Now, the one that I always thought was a real rugged man, Lee Majors, the Bionic Man.
Yes, the $6 million man.
Now, I think he's had plastic surgery, and he doesn't look the rugged man that he did. Okay, he's a lot older, but he doesn't look rugged. And the one that always sticks in my mind is Kenny Rogers. Have you ever seen Kenny Rogers?
Yes, 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 yes. Of course, the
Doesn't
country
look
western singer.
nothing like Kenny Rogers anymore
No,
because he's had all the work done.
yeah,
So for me, I'm going to say keep it real, keep it normal. If you need plastic surgery because you're disfigured, or you know, you can beat the aging process by having something slight if that's your bag, but don't go for the whole 9 yards and just end up looking like somebody else.
no. Treat yourself to a roll of sellotape. You'll be amazed what you can do with that.
I'd say, do you know what? This is my tricks to keeping young, and I know I don't think I look too bad for my age. Is keep fit, eat well, and have fun.
Yeah,
and that's it.
yeah,
That's my tips to anti-aging.
Perfect. That's good advice, mate, quite frankly, because I mean, in all fairness, if you're chuffing your way through 30 fags a day, it's going to make you look older.
Yeah,
if you're permanently drinking a bottle of wine every day, it's going to make you look older, you know. And if you're just sitting on a settee every day, I'm rather envious of you, but it's still going to make you look older.
and drugs, the other thing is cocaine use, in particular, that really ages them as they get on. You only got to look at some of the celebrities.
Yeah. So there we are. Live a pious lifestyle.
The only coke I do.
Yeah,
and I'm not tried snorting it.
You wouldn't believe Jay's 67 and I'm 92. It just shows you see.
Brilliant. Good man. Right, that's all for this time. Signing off. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, guys. Take care. Thank you.